In this demo, I'll be showing you how tuples can be used to organize data within your programs. So to get started, I'm going to create a Cartesian coordinate, which is simply an XY point on a plane. So I'm going to call it coordinates, or chord for short. I'm going to assign it the tuple of the values 2 and 3. So here I have just created a tuple with values 2 and 3. They get assigned into this coordinate variable. And to access them, I'll do a print line so they can print out if you wanted to print them. We can use the debug tokens and then type in chord.0 and chord.1. So they're accessed by index using the dot notation. So the name of the variable, dot, then the index number. So this is index 0, this is index 1, and if you had more, they would just keep on going to however many you had. And here is number 1, so this will print 3, and then this one will print 2. And that would be how you can use a tuple using a single variable name. Next, if you want to destructure, which I usually recommend if you're working with tuples, to destructure, you would do parentheses around the variable names that you want to assign when you create your tuple. So in this case, we created the same tuple with the values 2 and 3, except this time, the 2 is assigned to X and the 3 is assigned to Y. So we don't need to access them using any dot notations. So if we were to create another print line statement to demonstrate how it would work, you can just type in X and then Y, and then it would print out just as the previous one did. So this will print out 2, this will print out 3, since now we have them assigned to individual variables. You can also mix and match data types. So I'm going to create a variable called user info, and then I'm going to put in some user information. So I'll put in a username, put in Emma, and then we'll put in their age. We'll say they're 20 years old. Now, as you can see, we have a string and a number being created within a tuple since we have the parentheses. And they're both being assigned to this user info variable. And they would be accessed using the dot notation, just as previously shown. So it would be in userinfo.0 and .1 to access this. Now, here's why I recommend destructuring, because as you can see, if you were to use this user info variable later on your program, then you might be confused about what .0 means and what .1 means. So what you can do is, instead of giving it this user info variable, you can do name, age. And now you have two pieces of information that are descriptive and are easy to determine what they are and what they mean. So there's one more thing I wanted to go over, and that is keeping the amount of data in your tuple concise. So let's give a bad example first. So we'll have favorites. This could be like someone's favorite stuff. So we'll have their favorite color can be red, their favorite number be 14, their favorite state can be Texas, their favorite food is pizza, favorite TV show is TV show, and we'll say that their favorite place to be is at home. So now we have 6 pieces of information, and they would all need to be accessed using a number. So here we have index 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you wanted to figure out later in your program their favorite state, you would have to do that state equals favorites dot 2. So that would be their favorite state, because Texas has index 2. And the same thing with their favorite place to be. That would be their home, as we can see up there. So let place is favorites dot, and then we're going to count it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So favorites dot 5. So if you were to list all these out, it could become confusing later on, especially if you have more than like 5, maybe even 10 things. So in this case, where you have all these different pieces of data, which are similar because they're someone's favorite things, you would want to create a structure and give everything a name, because these numbers here start to become pretty ambiguous once you get more than like 3. Even 4, I would say is probably too many. I usually just keep my tuples at 3 values instead of more than that. That way you don't end up in this situation where you have lots of different things. And maybe they have strange names and you're not sure what TX means. Like maybe that means transmit information, or maybe it's Texas. It might be hard to tell. But if you create a structure with all the field names, then it'll be much, much easier to understand later. That's the conclusion of this video, and I'll see you in the next presentation.